All content featured on the Taylor Show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All stories discussed herein are based on alleged events and personal opinions. Nothing shared should be taken as fact or professional advice. Any viewpoints expressed are solely those of host and do not represent any business or organizations.
Hello, and welcome to the Taylor Show, the show where we typically talk about one thing and one thing only, and that's me. Hi, I'm your host, Taylor. But today, little gremlins, we have a very special guest in the studio. And yes, I said in studio, the catalyst of the infamous ToeGate, someone who's amazing at, a bad edit or being edited out completely, and maybe the person who may talk about sex more than I do. We have Imrul Hassan on the podcast today. I'm so excited.
What an intro. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here. You said this is your first in-person podcast that
Yeah.
you've done, like, since
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah. First in person, like I think I was telling you earlier. I was gonna wait till the season was over before I
Yeah.
started doing my whole little circuit thing, and now that it's over, I'm excited to be on these shows and talk about what happened.
Yeah, well,
Especially the editing out. I wasn't gonna do the circuits as much. I think I was like, let it be the way it
mhm.
was. But seeing that kind of just threw me into a whole like a little frenzy. I'm like, okay, well that's kind of messed up, right? So
Yeah, a lot of people wanna hear from you.
yeah, I mean, it's it's like you think about there's so much that gets filmed
Yeah,
and gets it doesn't make the edit because it just there's so much that
sure,
we're
yeah.
filming throughout the season. But I've never seen, and I've talked to some of the people on the show as well, someone just getting edited out of a whole dinner scene.
Completely. You
That
can see your
was,
hand in your
I mean, I
glass.
try to be respectful to the show and the process, and like even on the reunion, I said that I don't think I got the worst at it. There was some fault to on my own too. Like I wasn't as engaging as I wanted to be or whatever, and things that happen throughout the
Sure,
season,
sure.
right? Whatever. Um, but to have seen that the last few episodes where they just cut me out, you can still see my shadow in some of them,
Yes.
and there's obviously cast photos or whatever from the weekend where I'm clearly there.
Yes.
That felt so disrespectful.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can get over that. It just it's definitely messed up.
That's a big part of
Yeah.
your not only your time, but, like, of your life, like,
Yeah.
a summer of your life too that, like, I would wanna see all that
Yeah.
play back and
Yeah, for sure, and especially, like, towards that weekend,
uh
um, and that dinner specifically, I started talking about my school that I was
mhm.
super excited about, and they cut that out, so
So
I'm
that's
like,
actually what we got the most questions about when I put this out a Q&A to my audience.
yeah, yeah,
Everyone wants to hear about the school
yeah,
because they did cut that out. So actually, let's talk about it. Can you tell me a little bit about
yeah,
it for
for
people
sure,
who don't know?
I'm super, super excited about it. When I went on the show last year, I wanted to have fun.
Yeah,
That was the biggest thing. I had no
summer's supposed to be
summer was
fun.
fucking fun, and I had a good time, right? But my I think my goal through this was to get a platform for what I was doing and kind of motivate me more to do what I was doing with this school idea
Sure.
that I had for the past few years. It opened last summer. It's an English school in the village that I'm from. I'm from this little island called Shondeep. It's in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's a few miles. It's like 2 hours away from mainland.
Okay.
It's a very impoverished part of the world, and
Sure.
it's impoverished place and an impoverished country. So just like double whammy right there. And I got the idea a few years ago. I'm like, well, what if we teach these kids English? If we teach them English, they'll just get curious. I want people to be curious about the outside world, outside of their bubble. Because generally what happens is, you know, you you're gonna be most of those kids will be farmers or fishermen or work at a store or something along
Mhm.
this line. So I got the idea of like if we teach them English, they'll think the world's bigger than just that,
Yeah.
because now they can communicate with people outside of their bubble. They won't be so, they won't be so overwhelmed by what's happening on the internet, right? They'll be
Yeah.
like, okay, they'll go and they'll, watch a YouTube video about Photoshop or this skill set or this skill,
That's
whatever it may be. And it's just
incredible.
like, yeah, and English it's not that difficult to teach, I think, in my opinion, because,
Okay.
especially as a kid, as a child, if you
Mhm.
just if you keep them at it for a few years, they'll just pick up English. It's what happens.
Yeah.
I know it's not that simple,
Sure. Yeah.
but it's a lot easier than teaching them one at an older age, but also like any other skill set that could take years and years and years. This is just something like kind
Totally.
of like simple enough. Have them watch movies. That's how I learn English.
Oh
So
my goodness.
yeah, yeah. When I first came here, I learned English through that.
Oh,
So I kind of want to just push that back forward, and very excited about having it launch. And we're
yeah.
trying to expand right now,
Oh
and
my
hopefully
gosh.
by the end of the year, we have 3 or 4 different programs out there, to 3 or 4 different locations where people can.
That is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so where can my viewers and my listeners, where can they find the school? Where can they make donations? Can they make
Yeah,
donations?
yeah.
Okay.
I still have this GoFundMe. I made this website like a month and a half ago, and then I had to go back to Bangladesh. My
Mm,
father passed,
I'm
and
so sorry to hear that.
yeah, thanks. Um, but the good thing out of all that, it's been a catalyst to propel the school even more. And I
Yeah,
named the school after him. I
that's
also
special.
opened the school in the village that he's from because I want to, I think it's really good to get back to where you're from.
Yeah,
I fought that for such a long time. Like when I came to America and growing up, I was just like, I just want to be an American, so I kind of
right.
just forgot that part of who I am.
Okay.
So as I go back with my father every year, it gets to be more and more part of who I am.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was saying is, I made this website. I haven't fully finished it, so that's going to launch in a bit anyway.
Okay.
But I still have the GoFundMe
Awesome.
where you can donate, and the more money, the
Amazing.
better the more we can help people,
That's
and
awesome. We'll
yeah,
link it in the
yeah,
description for
great,
this podcast too.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's circle back to the big S, not sex. We're going to talk about Summer House. Okay. I need to know, what is the origin story of this? Because you're not a reality TV guy by trade.
Yeah.
Like, you're in real estate. How'd you get here?
I have no clue, it just
You're like, I don't know
well,
actually.
what they do is people refer people, it's
Mm.
like so Kyle referred me,
Okay.
and then they reach out, they do a bunch of like the casting people to reach out to a bunch of people,
Okay.
and I had a few different interviews with casting agents,
Yeah.
and they like my story enough,
That's awesome. And then they
and
didn't show it. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's like he seems lighthearted enough, and it was also a weird season because they had such a strong season with the men the year before.
yeah.
Obviously, I had to follow that, so they weren't quite sure what to do with me.
Yeah. Where you
Like
were going to fit.
one of the calls I got from like the last calls I got from the producers is like, listen, we hate to call somebody part time, that's but like we're trying to figure out what to do with you. And then what happened with
Interesting.
Bailey, I think, kind of launched me more into the season,
Yeah.
and like none of that was expected.
Yeah.
So who knows what would have happened if that kind of worked out, or
Well, she got engaged, didn't she?
I mean, it worked out for
Yeah.
her.
Like, that's
But yeah,
incredible.
yeah, she wasn't sure what she was doing. The
Yeah.
last conversation I had with her, it's gonna sound like I'm a one trick pony, but I'm like, she was wondering she was gonna do with this guy. I'm like, well, have you considered dating other people?
Right.
And like dating multiple people at the same time because you never know.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, she's getting engaged with this guy. So
Oh my God. That's
obviously, she
crazy.
didn't listen to my advice.
No, she didn't. But good for her
Good
for
for
that
her,
one.
amazing for her.
Do you
Yeah.
think you give good advice?
I think I do. I think I'm a
Yeah.
good listener.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think I'm a good listener. One of the things I try to do when someone's like speaking to me,
Mhm.
it's like, do you want advice right now, or you just want me to listen?
I like that. That's a
Yeah,
good
because
approach.
sometimes people just want to vent,
Yeah.
um, and I'm here to listen.
It's like when your friend breaks up with someone and you're like, oh my God, I hated them.
Yeah,
And then they get back together
yeah,
and
it
you're
happens
like,
all
okay,
the
I'm
time.
not going to be invited to the wedding. Actually, that's amazing. But I'm going to ask you, this is a two-part question. Who was your favorite person to film with? Who is your least favorite person to film with?
um, favorite? I mean, I had the best rapport with Carl.
I was going to say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys seem like you're buddies, like
yeah, we're
outside of the show.
buddies. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were hanging out last week.
That's awesome.
He's a good guy. I think I think he sees a lot of himself in me in a way,
Yeah.
like, well, I'm still partying, but I'm also like doing these kind of like, he was like, I was doing this shit in season 1 and 2,
Right.
like
Yeah.
bring people back and kind of just all over the place
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
but like I think deep down he's like, I see, yeah, there was a connection there
Yeah.
for
That makes
sure.
sense.
So every time we filmed together, every time we drove up together, it was smooth, it was
Fun.
great, yeah, it was fun and lighthearted. Um, Least favorite person to film with, I think, honestly, it was. I mean, everyone was okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't like great connections with a bunch of the cast. So, but I would say Jesse only
Okay.
because there was a bit of friction after the whole ToeGate thing.
So that brings
So
me to
yeah.
another question here. Do you think you were unjustly kind of blamed in this
Oh,
ToeGate thing?
oh, 100%.
Like, you didn't really
I
do
didn't do
anything
shit.
wrong.
I
You
didn't
were
do.
just getting your, you know, that's nutty.
Yeah, yeah. It was just three consensual adults
Yeah.
hanging out naked, and then one person barging into your room.
And, like, I feel all respect to
Yeah,
Jesse, 1000%, but that's just odd in general,
yeah,
unless,
totally.
like, you go in with a mission. If there's no mission, this is strange.
I mean,
Like,
like I said this a few times, but kudos to him
yeah.
to be no to be to be super comfortable in an uncomfortable situation.
Yes.
Like I think most of you would be like, I gotta get out of here. What am I doing in here? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. But he hung around for 37 minutes. Um,
Crazy. With a
Crazy
mic on.
with the mic
With
on.
a
Yeah.
mic on.
Um, we had some friction because I didn't bring it up the next day because I wasn't sure. Like, do I bring this up? It's also the Sundays are so tough.
I bet. Like, they're tough for me. I can't
Yeah.
imagine
Oh my
being in the
God.
Hamptons
Yeah.
with
And
a
then it's
group of
11
people.
o'clock, and I'm getting home at like 4 o'clock, and
Yeah.
then I'm doing some other things a little past that, right?
Yep.
And then we gotta be up at like 10:30, and then
Ugh.
like get around the pool and just like, I mean, we do that anyway, but it's,
Yeah.
obviously,
It's choreographed.
yeah, in that way. And then because we want to get, obviously everyone wants to get the fuck out of there,
Yeah.
and go home. So, but
Yeah.
we want to get the last Sunday recap, and that's what happens around the pool. And I'm
Ugh.
like not as coherent as I want to be.
1000%. Yep.
And so I wasn't as clear. I'm like, maybe do I talk about it? Do I not talk about it? And I didn't. And then I brought it up later on. Kind of mentioned it to Bailey. It's like
Yeah.
that. She's got a way about her where it's just like you just want to kind of share things with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And I love that her last time. I think the last time we see her on the season is her spilling the tea
Yes. And then nothing
while
else.
sipping on tea,
Yes.
and then that's it. She's gone.
And then she's
She's
gone.
gone
And it was
off into
funny
the wind.
because
That
she
was
was
great.
introduced as like Lexi's like bestie
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, you couldn't pry me and my best friend away from each other,
Yeah, well, unless there's a guy involved.
Unless there's a guy involved, I guess.
We've seen that happen.
So many
Yeah.
times. I
So
think that will never outplay itself.
no,
Like, I think
no.
that's
Yeah,
just
do it for the plot.
do it for the plot, do it for the bit.
Yeah.
Do you think, and this is an odd question for me to ask because I don't think I would have ever asked this except
Ask away.
in this situation. Do you think that being a man and doing what you did on Summer House, and that was just being sexually active,
Yeah.
like you were just living your life as a single man, do you think that women often kind of get away with it a little bit easier because they get the pass of it's empowering? It's
Yeah.
empowering me for me to do that, but you kind of got shaded like you're
Yeah.
that's shameful. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Hawk Tuah had her own thing. Like I
One
was trying to be the male Hawk Tuah. And that's
there you go.
America's not ready for it. Not.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's so hard to be straight and male in this country. I'm
it's
joking.
I mean,
No, I mean, yeah,
people
yeah,
have said
yeah.
worse on this
I mean,
podcast.
yes and no. It's like I think about it though. It's like I think if I, was a woman, and I think about it a lot.
As one does.
As one
Sure,
does.
sure, sure.
I think it would be so much more difficult if they did what I was doing.
Mhm.
If a girl brought to like two guys, I think that there's some empowerment there, but they would get so much slut shame. Yeah, I
1000%.
got some of it too.
Yeah,
I definitely did.
yeah,
But I can't imagine what a woman would go through in that way.
that's true.
It'd be so much more difficult. Yeah, there's a lot of empowerment, but there's also so much people on the other side of it too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
whatever I got, and I received some of it, especially after when I went on Watch How It Happens Live, and they kind of just
yeah,
they emphasize that a bit, which I get. But I got so many people reaching out to me. It was kind of overwhelming the next few days. I
yeah,
really didn't get that during the season, but after that, they were like, it was a lot. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, what am I doing wrong exactly?
Sure.
I'm being honest and being, straightforward. But I think the fact that we didn't see the women and there was multiple, and it was
Right.
like
Yep.
it was repetitive.
Little count clock
Yeah,
happening.
I
Yeah.
think I think women or people in general can get this idea that, well, this guy just seems like kind of shady dude. He's like covering these women, and we don't know what's happening. We don't
Yeah.
know. They don't see what's happening in the nightclubs, right?
No, no.
They don't know the conversation. They don't know the 30, 40 minute ride back. It's like
Yep.
from like the Hamptons to where we are in Sag Harbor. So they just, I think people can put themselves in that position. It's like, okay, well, I feel like this person might be taking advantage, or something that they've experienced. And
Sure.
I think that comes through a lot. So I got a lot of that.
Yeah. I've seen that
Yeah.
online for sure.
but I can't imagine for a second how difficult it would have been if a woman was doing the same things that I
Same
was
thing
doing.
as you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would be tenfold. It's if people when people say they're ready for it, but I think
It's
like
very it's sobering when you,
yeah,
like, look back and you see the little bit of discrepancy there, but then you also think about it from the other side, and you're
yeah,
like, "Oof." Do you think that any of the girls that you brought back, do you think any of them wanted to be on the show?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, one of them was on the show. Like she was at one of the parties.
Mhm.
Like two of them. I think they were both the threesome girls were
Yeah.
at one of the at that party that we
Yep.
were at that we did. The other two, I think so too. I mean, it's like they know like when I'm going
Yeah.
out, like I'm going out with the group or
Yeah.
with one of the castmates. So
Oh my
not every
gosh.
single person would know, but they definitely were like, okay, well, this is interesting. I wanted,
Yeah, see what this is like,
well,
yeah.
this is like the difficult part though is it's amazing. That sounds great. It's like, yeah, this could be fun.
Yeah.
A few drinks in, who doesn't want to be on TV? The day after the Sunday scaries that you get after hooking up with a guy that
Oof.
everyone gets.
Oof.
Now imagine that, and then you're like, did I just say I would have sex on national TV or
Yep.
on TV?
Yeah.
Did I just say that? Did I just do that?
Yep.
It's it's not as glamorous as they as they thought.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can imagine. I
Yeah,
cringe every time I think that my grandparents listen to this podcast. I'm like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
grandmom,
yeah,
no, you don't have to."
yeah. So your one time on TV is you hooking up with some dude.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole
That's
different definition of Sunday scaries. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
exactly. People get like I can't. I mean, yeah, if you're seeing somebody or you like or your parents, watch a show or something like
Yep.
that, could you imagine what that conversation
So, you
to be
did
had?
talk, in a previous podcast, you said something that along the lines of your mom is one of your best friends.
Yeah.
Did your mom watch the show?
My mom follows me on Instagram, so she sees everything
Okay.
on it. She's seen clips.
Okay.
I haven't She's in Bangladesh, so it's not over there. They can't air
They
it,
can't hear you.
Yeah, and I don't think like I had my cousin on the show and
Mhm.
her kids and my
Yeah.
uncle, which we saw like
You saw, like,
we filmed
a
all
little
day.
Oh, you
And
filmed
we
all
filmed
day for
well,
that.
like 8 hours or whatever. Don't even 8 hours, I'm exaggerating. But like 4 to 5 hours, the whole
They're
thing over there.
adorable, by the way.
They're amazing. I love them. I love that's my cousin's kids
Mhm.
and I love my nephew. But there's something to be said when kids just want to be held and played with. My nephew's a bit more like standoffish.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's just his
Yeah.
personality. But I have a limited time with them, so when I go see my cousin's kids, they legitimately like jump on me,
Aw,
and as I leave, they're like cartoonishly like holding onto my leg.
that's so cute.
It's adorable.
So
So
adorable.
it's like, yeah, I kind of want that more.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit closer to me, so I see them a lot more.
Uh-huh.
Super cute kids. Um, anyway, I was telling my cousin about the show. She couldn't wrap her head around, and she's young. She couldn't wrap around the whole idea of like, what the heck is reality television? I mean, which I barely understand, but it's
Yeah,
like
sure.
he's like, People are watching this for what is, like what's going
Like, what do
on?"
you
So
do?
what do you
Yeah.
do? It's like I don't know. I really don't know. I think people just like watch us hang out. It's like, and her brain was malfunctioning, so I can only imagine what my mother would think about
Yeah.
that. I told her what it is. I mean, and she is on. We filmed with her, where I did like a FaceTime call with her
Mhm.
and back in Bangladesh,
Yeah.
and we had a long conversation about her being over there. I've been supporting her for the last 7 years.
Wow.
Um, and how we got here and all that, and that also got cut out too.
Oh my gosh.
Um, I don't know exactly why. Maybe the audio or the footage was bad, or maybe it just didn't make enough sense, or who
Maybe.
knows.
Would you ever do reality TV again?
I mean, maybe like a game show. That
A
sounds fun
game
to me.
show? Okay.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. I kind of want to be on like I've always wanted to be on Price is Right. So if anyone's listening,
Okay,
they
wow,
can put me on
alright.
Price is Right.
It's
Um,
giving Barney Stinson. It's
yeah,
giving How I Met Your
yeah,
Mother.
yeah. Suit up.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. One of the reasons I did the show was, I mean, I had like a lifelong, not lifelong, like a month long dream.
A month-long
Dream
dream.
like a few months, like 2 years before I was talking to this woman. We were casual, we were super casual, and she asked me what my secret dream is. And I thought about, I'm like, I kind of want to be on TV, but I don't want to do any work to get on it. It's New York City. You can be an actor, and try really hard and get on in that.
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. Um,
It's kind of perfect the way it
Yeah,
worked out.
exactly. And then I didn't talk to her for like 2 years, and then out of nowhere we start talking again, as things go, right?
Yeah.
And just around that time, they were reaching out to me, and where we're getting close to like them making an offer or like me being cast on the show.
Oh my god.
And I was waffling. I'm like, I'm not sure if I should do this.
Yeah.
Like, what am I really trying to get out of it? All that, right? And then she's like, "What are you talking about? You talked about this 2 years ago, and you manifested this. You've done no work.
Oh my god.
They reached out to you, and now you're waffling on it." I'm like, "You're fucking right. I should do it."
That's incredible.
Yeah,
And that she remembered that specific
yeah,
conversation too to
exactly.
like be
She's
like,
good about
you
that
got
kind
to
of
do
stuff.
this.
Yeah, so I did that, and also that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
The other part is it was mostly on the weekends. I just go, they
Yeah.
drive you out, or I drive out to the Hamptons on the weekends. You get paid for it, and then
Yeah.
you go back to your normal life for the most part. That sounds amazing. I feel like most other reality television shows, right? You have to be gone for 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it
Oh
is.
yeah.
So I couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I love my New York City life over here, it's the weekends are draining enough, to be
And then you
filming.
work throughout the
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so
So, I mean, the weekends when you're filming is draining enough. I can only imagine if you're doing this, like,
1000%.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm cut out for that, but maybe who knows? If it's a good opportunity, if it sounds fun,
Yeah.
if it's a right group of people, then why not?
Well, there's a little feud brewing with the Summer House crew and the Southern Charm crew.
Yeah,
So it'd be really funny if you like made a little guest appearance on Southern Charm.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that would be great.
yeah, and or we did like a family feud or something like that. That'd be
Amazing.
great.
That would be so
Yeah.
funny. We've talked about like your whole relationships and
Mhm.
things like that. Do you have a favorite ex?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I mean, I think I've learned so much
Yeah.
from the people I'm with. I'm
Hmm.
I'm infantile, in my thought process, and I learn from people around me.
Yeah.
And yeah, the so I had 2 5-year relationships back to back,
Holy cow.
and I think I did a terrible job in telling my backstory because again, Sundays are tough.
Yeah,
Uh,
right, right, right.
like I remember Kyle was asking me the first time we talk about me being undocumented. It was like, well, I think because him and I had a few conversations about like the way I think about life now, as far as monogamous relationships and non-monogamous relationships,
Hmm.
and sexual, all that goes with that.
Sure.
And I was in 2 monogamous relationships back to back, so that's 10 years of my life. I
Yeah.
had like a little small gap in between, and then the last one we broke up like right during COVID, and then the next 4 years I was exploring who I am, and then I realized I think I just need to be as free as possible because.
Sure.
And the reason I brought up me being undocumented, what I was trying to get at is I felt like I was restrained, and I couldn't live as freely as I wanted to be,
Yeah.
whether it was that part of my life, the undocumented part, or being in a relationship. And I'm not saying relationships should be suffocating because they're not, but there's a level of freedom that you do
Yeah.
lose when you're in a relationship because there is a compromise that goes with that. And I felt like I didn't want that as much anymore,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what happened towards the end of that relationship, where I was kind of pulling away. But her, I've learned so much from.
That's awesome.
She taught me to be a better person, to think before I act, and just have patience. And I think through her, I learned this balance of life. Yeah,
Yeah.
party, do these things, and push the envelope there, but also, you know, wake up the next day and go to yoga and
Yeah.
drink green juice, and do some gardening, and do like have be able to do both ends,
Yeah.
of it, and as good as you can.
That was a great and like well thought out answer.
Yeah.
Most people are like, I don't have a favorite ex.
No.
Actually, I hate all of them.
Like I talk to all my exes, as much as I
You
can.
talk to all of your
Yeah,
exes.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because it's like they meant so much to you at that moment, even if there's
That's crazy to me.
yeah. I mean,
That's
I've only had
nutty.
like 2 exes in that
Yeah,
sense, yeah.
that's
And
crazy to me.
but like, why would you? I mean, if you could, I mean, it's difficult. I know it's
Sure.
difficult. It takes some time, and work,
Yeah.
but they meant so much to you. They've taught you so much, and at times you were in love with them, right?
Sure. Yeah. That's
So
an
you might,
interesting
yeah,
perspective.
you might not be in love with them. Hopefully, you're not still in love with them,
Yeah.
but you still have love for them. So
Interesting.
what are you doing with all those emotions? All those feelings. They just go away. You
Wow.
know.
I'm
So
canceling therapy this week. I think I'm cured. I'm good.
this has taken yeah, it's taken me so long to get to this point, but
Wow.
Yeah, it's like I want to do my best to like collect the people around me, and if I've spent that much time with you and relationships, you spend a lot of time with that person, then hold on to them if you could,
Yeah.
hold on to them because that means that you've wanted to spend time with them, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I
wow.
don't know.
This is very Tony Robbins.
Yeah,
Like, I love it. Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna go through some old Facebook posts I found, and they're yours.
Oh no,
And
I try to delete.
they're dramatic, and I love every second of them. Okay, so I just want to hear your thoughts on them
Oh
now.
my god.
This is from January 2nd, 2011.
Oh no, that's a different person. That's not Emerald.
You know what grinds my gears?
Oh
People who call you and hear that it rings several times, goes to voicemail, and then feel that they're adding something by leaving a message that says, "Hey, it's me. Call me back."
yeah,
Dude, I know it's you. I have caller ID, but now I won't call you back out of spite.
yeah,
You're the reason I have 25 unheard messages, period.
yeah. No, you know what? I stand by that. Well, that stemmed from
I love it.
my parents. Like way back in the day, there was an answering machine. And it made
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah. They would just like yell your name until you came to the phone because you
Mhm.
can hear it from like the other room.
Oh, yeah.
So my dad, every time he would call me, he would just like yell my name. I'm like, what's the point of this?
That's so
But
funny.
then he had some friends do the same thing and leave this, like, hey, it's me, call me back. I'm like, dude, yeah, no shit. Just that's a text.
Yep.
That's a text.
Oh, I
Okay.
get it. My phone's always on Do Not
Yeah,
Disturb.
never leave voicemails. What are you doing leaving a voicemail?
I don't have my voicemail set up.
Yeah, when was the last time you listened to voicemail?
Oh, I don't.
I mean, the good thing is now they have the voice that just
Oh, so
way
it
to
shows
describe
you.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like because I think they realize no one's going through their voicemail. Like
No one's looking
if
at
you
it.
if you look on your phone, it's definitely maxed out, right? Oh, you see it's not even set up
I
anymore?
know. So I got a new phone. I didn't even set it up. And I had like two people.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, by the way, your voicemail box isn't set up. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
don't call me.
Never
Don't
call
leave me
me.
a
No, it's
message.
not.
Just text me.
And I get a lot of calls from like I'm in real estate, so I get a ton of calls. But in that, and it's
Yeah.
not the most professional thing, I'm like, you should be texting me right now,
Yep.
okay? Just
Yep.
text me.
That's so funny. So you
Um,
stand by this.
yeah, yeah. Well,
2011,
because
you
I
and
get hundreds of calls.
2025.
It's like I
Yeah. You're so popular. You
no,
can't
no. I mean the
can't keep
real
it.
estate
Yeah.
stuff. No one's trying to call me. That's none of that. It's the real estate stuff.
The next one is from 2015. I will not miss these goddamn mosquitoes. And I just wanted to say that,
Oh my
like, I get it because, like, I have a couple mosquito bites right now and I'm, like,
god.
really, really roughing it here.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one from 2010. Just saw this blind guy with his seeing eye dog, and it got me thinking of a question I thought of a couple of times. Who picks up that dog shit? Have we as a society given the pass to the blind to be subjected to potty picker duties? I mean, they suffer enough, comma. We should probably look the other way or even help them out. Fuck, they might be down there for hours trying to feel or smell it out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean that stems from me acting like I was blind when I had to like dog sit my friend's dog. I'm like, I don't feel like picking up their shit. So that's where it comes from. Yeah, it was like a Seinfeld skit too. Like he's like, if aliens look down and they see us like walking around their dogs, and then they go see those human beings pick up that dog shit, who do they think is in charge? Not us. The dogs are
Oh,
in charge. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, that's what I mean. Which they kind of are,
Yeah.
especially these
Oh, it's,
days.
yeah, seriously. Do you
But
have any
yeah,
pets?
I don't. It's because I think I avoid responsibility a little bit.
Well, I
I
mean, you have plants, don't
Yeah,
you?
I
Yeah.
do love my
Okay.
plants. I love animals. I love animals. I wish there was a place where I can like rent a dog for
Oh,
is that a thing?
I don't know. I feel like
I
you
mean,
can
it's
rent
probably bad.
dogs.
It's probably bad for the dog,
You
to
think
like
so? I feel like you
or
can,
puppies. Yeah,
oh, like
uh,
play with puppies.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, they have like cat cafes, right?
Yeah,
And
they
those are
do.
great. Do they have dog cafes?
I don't know. I've never seen one. There
Because
has to be
I
one in
would
the
love to
city.
like go. If I'm like sad or whatever. Just go
Yeah.
roll around with puppies. You cannot. It's impossibly sad.
Yeah, I know. You literally can't when there's little puppies
Should we
around.
open this store? Like, should we open up that business?
I think we
I think
should.
we should.
No, I think we should pitch something to like Comedy Central at
Yeah.
this point after that little caricature.
Yeah.
So many people, I'll put a little blurb of it here, but a lot of
Yeah.
people reached out to and they were like, that's really funny. That looks like an animated series
Did
of you
you?
guys.
Was that AI?
Yeah, that was AI.
AI is so fucking great. It's
Isn't it?
amazing. Yeah. Like I took a photo of my friend. She's telling me, I was just telling the story to her yesterday. And she's like, she's like teaches Pilates. And she's like, people think I'm mean. And she's such a sweet girl. It's like when she's doing Pilates, she's like, they're mean because she's like kind of like sarcastic. When she's like, all right, put your left foot up. And she's like, no, no, your other left foot.
Yeah.
And it's like a little bit sarcastic and snarky in that way. So she's got like a little like someone said, like, yeah, she's a little mean. She's like a little mean girl vibe, and which like you would never get by looking at
Oh
her.
my God.
So I took like a photo, like her profile photo in our text, and I put her on AI. I'm like, make a little cartoon about this girl teaching Matt Pilates, yelling at her, at the people in the class,
Oh
and
my
they made
gosh.
it in like 10 seconds. It looked exactly like her. It's
It's
crazy.
nutty. Do you have ChatGPT?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah. I
have you
pay for
ever
the.
asked it to design what you look like? Say, what do you think I look like? And it will
Oh,
show you what it thinks you look
oh,
like.
oh, like, it'll go through your photos or something, or do you need
No,
to?
no, it just takes all the information it has on you. Like, so for
That's
me,
creepy.
it was awful. It looked like I was a serial killer with like behind all these little like strings and 2 dogs. Yeah, it was nutty.
Yeah, yeah. You're not who you think you are. You are
Who they say I
who
am.
ChatGPT thinks you are.
That's true. I even
Yeah,
gave mine a
yeah.
name.
Oh my God.
I know.
Maybe it's like I was just at a magic show yesterday, which I haven't I haven't gone to ever. It's super
Okay.
fun. It's called The Bluff. Shout out to
Okay.
The Bluff. It's like
Cool.
$20 in Williamsburg. So good. Um, but they're doing some mentalist stuff, and it just freaks the heck out of me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But the reason I bring that up is like I think ChatGPT could do that at this point. It's like, what am I thinking? What number am I thinking? It'll tell you what number you're thinking.
It's nutty.
Yeah,
And like thinking of the fact that they can take your
should we try it
voice.
out? Right now.
Yeah, right? They can like take your voice and make you say anything, which is nuts. Like if they have so
Well, have you
many.
tried that?
Yeah.
Well, because your voice is out there, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything's out there.
Yeah,
So I'm like I'm
yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah,
at some point something is going to get wires crossed. What's funny, actually, there is a in the hair salon I go to, there
yeah,
is a massive poster when you walk in, and the woman, I don't know if she's AI or if it's a real
yeah,
model,
yeah.
but it looks just like me.
Oh my
And I'm
God,
always like,
it's
is
great.
that me?
Do you watch Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Do you? I love that show. I
Oh,
mean,
so
especially
good.
the first run of it. The
Oh yeah.
last. It's hard to like keep doing new takes and you know
Yeah.
new episodes. I think so. I haven't watched as much the reboots, but one of the episodes I loved is when um what is it? The husband or the boyfriend dies in the accident, and the girl gets like this robot
Yes. Oh
because
my
she
gosh.
keeps like listening to the voicemails and doing all this, and she's like, I can't
Yeah.
get over it. And what it does through AI, through every single thing they have in Facebook posts, is they make a personality that is
Mhm.
so much like them, and the voice and everything. We're not so far from that,
That's so
which
scary.
it's super scary, but it's like really, it's amazing in a way because yeah, like that kind of trauma, like
Yeah.
like if someone dies suddenly or even dies in general, right?
Yeah.
It's how do you get over it? You don't, right? And if there's this magical thing that can just replicate them, like how do you not go back? How do you
It's
not?
like the movie Her.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, with that, yeah.
basically like
It's.
her.
I mean, we're so close to that at this point. I think
I know. I know.
Um,
People are gonna start marrying their ChatGPT robots. Oh, I mean, it'll be like a less stressful wedding, I feel
I
like,
think so. Yeah.
Like this is rapid fire. I do this with all my guests and we call it a lunch list. So you have to go to lunch with these people and spend a whole hour there. Could you do it? I'm gonna list some names. Meghan Markle,
Oh yeah.
Amber Heard,
No.
Chapel Roan.
Oh yeah, I love her.
Oh, Martha Stewart.
Yeah, Chaperone was like number two on my on
On
my
your
Spotify
wrapped?
list. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, my friend was really into it. She got me into it, and I just kind of just like her vibe
Oh
was
my
like a
gosh.
summer vibe, and I just
She's so cool.
she's so cool.
So
Yeah.
cool. Martha Stewart.
Yeah. Oh, she's great.
Uh
If she's any friend of Snoop Dogg is a friend of mine.
I like the way you
Yeah.
think. Yep, I agree with that. Bethany Frankel.
I think she's super interesting. Yeah, I think
I
I
think
would.
she would
Yeah.
really like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You give
100%.
off Bethany Frankel
Let's
energy.
go. Okay.
Hannah Berner.
Yeah, she's hilarious, of
She's
course.
so
Yeah,
funny.
she's
So
fucking
funny.
hilarious.
Julia Fox.
I I don't think so. I think we'd have a hard
I don't think
conversation and just
no
like,
uncut
yeah.
gems.
Yeah, oh yeah, that voice, yeah.
Uba Hassan from Real Housewives of New York.
Yeah, I don't know much about her, but I love her vibe. So I think, yeah, and she seems, she's from somewhere else. I'm from somewhere else,
Oh yeah.
from parts unknown. That was when we did softball. That was on the back of like that was my name on the back of my shirt
Oh
from
my
parts
gosh.
unknown.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's so funny. Yeah,
yeah,
she has Uba Hot, I think, like a hot sauce. So
yeah.
good.
I love that.
So good. Okay, so the last questions before we wrap up is there anything that I haven't asked you or interviewers haven't asked you that you want them to talk to you about?
I don't think so. I've been on this little circuit,
Yeah.
whatever. So I think I've covered everything
Yeah.
through that. It's out there. If you have anything else you want to ask me, obviously,
Yeah, you're an open book. I want
So
everyone to know like he has not denied any
no,
question.
no.
Like you've talked about everything.
I think one of the reasons I don't say more during the show
Yeah.
is because people aren't asking me questions. Like I'm an open book. Just like be maybe. I mean, that's also on me. I like to like be more like outgoing in that sense, which I feel like I am, but sometimes I'm not.
Sure.
Yeah, we're like that. I guess Libras are like that, and
I love it when you blame an astrology
yeah, it's
sign.
not my
Yep.
yeah. I'm
It's
owning
not
that
you, it's
now.
your sign. I
Yes, I
understand.
can. But yeah, no, I super open. So
Okay. Who should I have on the podcast next? I ask everybody this at the end. Who would you like to see on here next?
um, have Jesse on next. No,
Could you imagine?
yeah, no.
Open invitation for Jesse Solomon.
I mean, I think Carl, because his he's gonna be so busy, and they're all busy now with
Well, are you going to the soft bar opening?
uh,
Whatever that is.
without a doubt,
Yeah.
the building that I'm opening, which I'll be living in, because I'm still gonna be here,
Mhm.
but it's gonna be easier from if I'm over there.
Yeah.
And I also love Brooklyn. Is 2 blocks away from
Oh my
Soft
gosh.
Bar,
Cool.
so we're neighbors,
Oh my gosh, amazing.
and we're trying to do a collab where he brings the truck up, and I get the people who are coming in. We do like these like broker showcases, whatever, and
So
kind of just
cool.
put the name out for Soft Bar. Hopefully that happens. So
Oh my gosh, awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, well, if you're at that, I'll see you there. Because,
yeah,
yeah,
great, yeah,
I'll pitch the pod then. Thank you so much for
absolutely.
coming on the Taylor show. This was Imrul Hassan. Thank you very much. And anything you want to plug before we leave? Your website, your socials, anything?
No, not really. I mean,
No.
no. I mean, I'm not. It's
He's like, no, fuck
yeah,
off.
we
We're
talked
done.
we talked about it enough.
Yeah.
I think we're good. Yeah, you know who I
Perfect.
am.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.